Hello everyone, I'm Eric from Sports 365. Here with me once again is my colleague Alex. So, Arsenal played two matches, 2-1 loss away on the Champions League, which is obviously disappointing, but bounced back with a massive 1-0 win against Manchester City in the Premier League. So, Arsenal are joint top of the league heading into the October international break. So before we dive in deeper in details, what are your thoughts on these two matches?
Yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag, wasn't it? It was very disappointing to lose Milan, but then we came back and actually beat Manchester City. So it's a massive difference between those two matches, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It's Arsenal's first win in the Premier League against Manchester City since 2015, so certainly taken quite a while, but obviously a massive win. So, moving on to the defense, wasn't great against Lon. 3 shots on target for Lon, conceded 2 goals. Raya was kind of sloppy in that game. The defense was far better against Manchester City. City only got 4 shots, only 1 shot on target, and Holland was completely shut down. Really, he didn't even get a shot on target in that game. And Raya was better. He had a bit of a shaky first half, but definitely settled down and played better in the second half. So, yeah, definitely a mixed bag in terms of the defense in these two matches. So, what are your thoughts on Arsenal's defense in these two games?
Yeah, against Milan was really disappointing, both from the defenders and the goalkeeper. Against Manchester City, it was fantastic, especially the way that Saliba and Gabriel shut down Holland. I will say that Raya looked a bit shaky in both matches, really. So I'd like to see Ramsdale back in goal, to be honest.
Yeah, I think definitely wasn't the best 2-game stretch for Raya. Didn't play particularly well against Lon, and definitely had a shaky first half against Manchester City too. That thankfully didn't come back to hurt Arsenal, but definitely could have. So yeah, I think we'll have to see what Chad does in terms of rotating goalkeepers, but I won't be surprised if Ramsdale starts in the next game. Now, in terms of the midfield, Arsenal did have a lot of possession against Lon, 67% possession, and created some chances, but the attack didn't actually finish them off. Then against Manchester City, 49%. And I think the creativity in the midfield was definitely stifled a bit by how Manchester City were playing, but still pretty good overall. And I think Rice was really the standout performer in the midfield in Arsenal's win against Manchester City. So, what are your thoughts on the midfield in those two games?
Yeah, it was good in both matches, really. To have 67% possession against Lon shows that our midfield were winning their battles, and it's a pretty damning indictment of our forwards for being able to finish. And again, against Manchester City, obviously they're missing a couple of their best midfielders, but they're still very strong, and we still outplay them in midfield, especially with Rice. Again, he was the standout performer, as you said, and as he has been for so many of Arsenal's matches this season. It's starting to look like, £100 million well spent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was fantastic in that game overall. I think first half wasn't as great as normally he would be, but second half I think he really turned it up, and it was definitely the standout performer in Arsenal's midfield. I think in terms of that game overall, I think you give man of the match to him, but I think I would give it to Saliba against City for how well he defended. He didn't make any mistakes, won all of his duels, didn't control pets once, never lost possession. He was just fantastic. But yeah, I think the midfield played well in the subs in the City game, especially. made a difference. Party and average both contributed to the winning goal. So midfield it's definitely good in both matches. Now, in terms of the attack, honestly not that great in either match. Arsenal had 6 shots on target against Lyon, but only scored 1 goal, so not great. Arsenal had 2 shots on target against Manchester City, but ended up actually scoring scoring the goal of the game with one of them. But overall, not really the best performance of the attack. Definitely not as clinical as we could have been. So what are your thoughts on the attack in these 2 games?
Yeah, like you said, not great. It's, 6 shots on target kind of sounds like a lot. It's not really when you have 67% possession and to only score 1 goal. It's just poor finishing, to be honest. And when you have 50% essentially possession, you only get 2 shots on target, then you have to point a finger at your forwards for not being, as aggressive and taking opportunities like they should. So, we definitely got a big win against Manchester City, but our performance, especially of our forwards, was definitely not flawless.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Definitely not very clinical against Lyon, and obviously came back to hurt us in the second half when we went behind and lost. And not that clinical against Manchester City either, although obviously they're excellent defensively. So it's a little bit more understandable, and I think with Saka being out and Martinelli only being able to play the second half, I think definitely made a big difference as well. Though it's definitely our best attacking player against Manchester City. Obviously scored the winning goal. So definitely a bit of a mixed bag too. Not too clinical. Definitely have to work on that.
Yep.
Now in terms of the manager ratings. I gave Arteta a 6 out of 10 against Lyon. Attack wasn't clinical, defense wasn't good enough, and starting right ended up being a mistake in that game because he definitely didn't play that well. And I said 9 out of 10 for Arteta against Manchester City. I thought the midfield was good, defense was fantastic, and the tactics were good, especially, and I think the substitutions, especially, were fantastic. As I said, all 4 of them contributed to that winning goal against Manchester City. So Arteta did a really good job against City, but far from his best work against Lyon. So what are your thoughts on those manager ratings?
Yeah, I'd give him a slightly better rating against Lyon, probably 7 out of 10. I don't think his tactics were the problem. I just think it wasn't a great performance by the players, really. And I agree, 9 out of 10 against City. His tactics and substitutions were both excellent.
Yeah, I think Arteta definitely deserves a high manager rating for that win against City. Did a great job.
Yep.
So there you have it. 2 games, one fortunate loss against Lyon, but then very significant 1-0 win against Manchester City. So Arsenal can head into the October international break on big high. So that's great news.
Yep.